What's up? Welcome to a special episode of Bitches Love Sports. All right, y'all. I'm using a different mic tonight, one that you cannot see on camera. So I need y'all to do me a favor, as usual, and let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me and you're watching on YouTube, if you could just go in the chat and put a thumbs up or like, yes, we can hear you, something like that. So I know everything is working and I don't start this bomb ass conversation without y'all being able to hear anything. Um, so this is actually an episode that I've been planning for a minute. Um, but when I first planned it, it was a little bit of a different situation. Thank you, Luis, for letting me know everything sounds good. It was a little bit of a different situation. There were different people involved. There were more people involved, and I asked the homie. I said, "Hey, we should do a show about this because we've been talking about doing content together for a while." And we talked about doing it, didn't really get the times lined up right, and we had already planned to do this today before Kendrick actually dropped today. So it just so happens like to be this fortunate coincidence. I suppose it's fortunate that Kendrick dropped today. So everybody's looking for even more information about this. And we had planned to do this today. And my friend is available, even though he has other people in his house to consider. So we're going to see him in a little bit different setting than what we're used to seeing most of my guests. But he is a hip hop connoisseur. He is a rapper, a sound engineer, a content creator. He really knows his shit when it comes to this. He is one of the people who, without which Bitches Love Sports would not exist. And he's my best friend. So, everybody, welcome Mr. DA to the. Hey, okay. Sorry, hold on.
Okay.
my, I'm like, welcome. And my laptop is like, no, actually. Okay, we're going to do this. Do this.
It says I'm in the show. Everyone can see and hear me.
I know they can hear you. They can't see
Yeah, that's what I was
you.
thinking. I was like, "This is black on the side. I don't know if they can." It's my camera. Oh, let me see. Yeah, it's on.
No, it's on. It's not you. It's my layout. Give
Okay.
me 1 second.
Boom.
There
There
we
I am.
go.
Now I'm in these Nashville trenches. No, not. It's not the trenches. It's a very middle class area. I feel so safe here.
Hence you being outside and obliging and still doing this podcast outside.
Mm,
Eastside Herald, no, I'm not dancing. What is wrong with you? All right. So
my bad. Giant fucking mosquito attacking me. This lighting better anyway. I'm staying right here.
feel safe except for the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so before we kind of get into what exactly happened today and yesterday, or technically
Yesterday.
all today,
Basically, it's really been like a 24-hour period because it kind of started like 10 p.m. Not it didn't start
exactly.
technically. Technically, it started yesterday morning, but then it started heating up about 10 p.m. last
Facts,
night, and
facts.
still going apparently.
I actually want to go back before that for the people who maybe hopped in when this was already ongoing and they're in the middle of it and they don't really
Yeah.
know how it started. How did all this start? Who was involved, and how did we get here?
So like, if we go like the beginning, then of course, like I guess we would go back to Control in 2013, where Kendrick.
Sure, give us a history lesson. Go for it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the beginning, if we really want to put context to it, we started Control, in which Kendrick just blatantly, I can't remember every lyric, but basically he said, like, hey, look, I'm here to be the best, period. Like, I'm cool with niggas, but I'm here to be the best, period. And I guess a lot of people targeted that at Drake because it was like, yo, I'm saying this to everybody, but it was really towards Drake, who was arguably the one, has continued to be the one for the while. And then, you fast forward to the BET Cyphers that year, in which he said something to the effects of that made a sensitive rapper get back in their pajamas, in which everybody thought was a shot at Drake at that point in time. So, from then on, there has been like, when are they going to diss each other? When are they going to diss each other? So you fast forward to 2023, Drake has a song with J. Cole called First Person Shooter. People say that J. Cole was the first person who said something to Kendrick in that song. I still don't know which lyric was supposed to be aimed at Kendrick in that song, but it starts with First Person Shooter. Then it leads to April 2024. Kendrick and Future put out Like That, in which Kendrick makes it very clear he's taking every shot. Listen to me. I listened to Like That at 4:30 a.m. because I was just getting ready for work, and the new Future album had dropped. And of course, I'm a nigga of all niggas, so I'm gonna listen to the new Future at 4:30 a.m. when it drops. And like I said, it didn't even have the new thing that artists do when they put the new albums up is they don't tell you the features. It just has the song names. You just listening. So I'm just vibing, listening to the song. I already like the beat and shit. And then Kendrick just come in, hey, 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 and just start just taking shots. Just like you hear gunshots going everywhere. You're like, oh fuck, I didn't know this was gonna happen. But yeah, it's pretty clear that he said, motherfuck the big three, nigga. It's just big me. So he's making it clear again. Hey, nigga, I'm the number one. Drake and Cole got wind of that, but then as we come to find out in this last month or so that while we all thought that was just a competitive of, hey, you two niggas who say y'all at the top, I want to battle y'all. What was really going on was Kendrick Lamar apparently really hates Drake. Like he has a deep contempt for Drake. And the more these diss songs come out, the more it really seems like, no, I just feel like I need to speak for all of these people who have a problem for you. I have a problem with you, and all of these other people have a problem with you, and I have to speak up for them. That's what I'm kind of taking from it at this point. But yeah, it's just that's where it started. Uh, After Like That, I think Drake put out Push Ups. That was his first diss song last week. That's like my favorite one from Drake of the diss songs that he's put out. And then Kendrick put out Euphoria Tuesday. And then Friday morning, he put out 616 in LA. Friday night, Drake puts out Family Matters. 30 minutes later, puts out Meet the Grams. And then I want to say just 2 hours ago, Kendrick released what was it? Ain't Like Us? Not Like Us. That's
Not
what it's
like
called.
us.
Not Like Yeah, Not Like Us. He
Yeah.
put that out 2 hours ago, in which, in my personal opinion, I feel like not only did he address Drake, but he also addressed the Drake supporters, because a big complaint was, well, ain't nobody trying to hear these beats. You can't dance to these beats. Who want to play this shit? So he got a DJ Mustard beat Drake on, and the shit slap. So it's like, and nigga dissing you and your fans. Oh, it's just, I'm sorry. I'm on Kendrick's side. I feel like Kendrick won. I'm reading a lot of people saying that Drake was, but me being a rapper and me being a creator, a content creator as well, him linking the content surrounded with the song, and also dropping Easter eggs for future diss tracks to make it make sense. I don't know. It's like a lot of work. He is very much a Kendrick. If you listen to the Pimple Butterfly, me and Josh love the Pimple Butterfly. And my favorite thing about the Pimple Butterfly, I always say, is that you have every genre of black music sewn together to make a cohesive project that's all sewn together by a poem. And then, you have, it's just a great presentation of music. And I feel like with this thing that's going on, how he's presented all his diss tracks has just been a great presentation of music. There's no other way to say it.
That's a really good point. And I think there are some people who don't value presentation of music. It's just
Oh,
like,
that's what
how
I've
does
learned.
this track make me feel?
This is what I've learned in
um,
this. A lot of people, especially rappers, a lot of rappers who I respect as artists still to this day, I learned that they are not rappers. They are artists. They're not rappers, because niggas are listening. There is no way a person can make a diss song in which every other bar is a double entendre or a triple entendre, and you tell me that's not impressive. That is not an easy feat.
well, you know what I've learned though? I,
Yeah,
I think listening to it, a lot of people didn't actually pick up that they were double and triple entendres. And I think
exactly.
to people who didn't pick it up, they're just listening to it and they're like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
And
When
for those
people
of us who
say
picked
that
up
you
that
have
they
to
were
be a
double and triple entendres, we were impressed.
look,
So I
it
think
is
the
a,
people who had to
my
do a
bad.
little bit of homework didn't weren't really feeling Kendrick's music.
Yeah, there's always been this thing where people said to enjoy Kendrick or J. Cole, you have to have a higher intellect. And people have always made fun of that statement and, made a joke out of it. And even I done joked with it. But I'm not gonna lie, this weekend it showed me that you do gotta like kind of be cool with using your brain a little bit to peep out
Yeah.
what was happening with Kendrick. You really had to go sit down and do some research, piece together what does this mean? What does that mean? Even the sample choices and the artwork, all of it had meaning. The first song was Euphoria. He samples my greatest inspiration to rap on. In my head, when I think that, I think a nigga who ain't heard drop an album a verse nothing in like almost 2 years. He samples "You're my latest, you're my greatest inspiration" as a diss song. You are now my greatest inspiration. I am about to dedicate myself to destroying you. And for this
And he
song's
has.
end, it's like because it's like, yo, if he keeps on, it's like this really actually might impact Drake's career. Like what 50 Cent did, like our generation knows this is real. If you're like 20 or younger, you may have never seen anything like this happen in rap. Me and Jazz lived through 50 Cent and Ja Rule. We've literally seen a nigga's career get ended from diss songs. It's a real
Facts.
thing. It happens, and we've seen it happen
And
before.
not only just because of the tracks and the beef between them, but I mean, how many times can you be accused of being a pedophile before it starts to impact your connections, your network, your career?
He called you
Like
a
it's some
junkie.
really serious accusations that have been
Called
thrown
you
around in these
a
tracks.
pill head, pedophile. You have a gambling addiction. You have a sex addiction. This is on paper. This is the thing that people keep calling the rumor, but it's actually a known fact because people talked about it in 2017, 2018. One of your members literally went to jail for sex trafficking. That's what the guy was in jail for. And he came out, you kept on saying, well, Baca's free, when this guy's free, this guy's free. You were talking about a sex trafficker. And he's actively on your payroll. People are like, that's not a rumor. That is, you can go look that up. That's what that man went to jail for. So it's like all these things can't be connected, especially not in this climate where we see what's going on with Diddy, right? It's like, oh no, that the nigga sold Revolt. I remember watching Diddy build Revolt. I remember watching Diddy talk about wanting to create Revolt and saying and thinking in my head, I'm like 17 at the time. I'm like, this nigga's not gonna have a TV station. I'm thinking it's impossible. Then he did that shit. It was successful. It was like that is his baby. I knew he didn't want to sell that shit. But I'm saying in the climate where you can do this to Diddy, duh, they can do that shit to you, nigga.
Of
You might be
course.
great. You're Drake. You're great and all that. But I feel like Diddy has a more long-standing success production in multiple businesses and areas of entertainment and fashion and all that than you have. So yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, if
I
I was
gotta
Drake, I
rewind.
would have left it alone.
I've been wondering why he hasn't, honestly. But before we get too deep down that road, I want to rewind to
Mm-hmm.
something that you said earlier because you said that it's obvious now that Kendrick really hates Drake, right?
Yeah.
But in Euphoria, he had that one line where he's like, "I pray they my real friends." So were him and Drake and J Cole, were they friends at some point?
I don't think that they were friends, but I do remember a point in time. Maybe him and J. Cole were friends and still are friends because J. Cole even that's like part of the apology in which like for people who don't know that part, J. Cole was involved in this as well. He released a diss song, but then the same weekend that he released a diss song at his Dreamville Fest, he actually went on stage to apologize to Kendrick Lamar for the diss song and actually took it back. And I remember the time me and you talking about that at the time, and I was saying like, well, I think he did that because speaking from the perspective of a person who's an artist who sits down and write to write. Sometimes people say that you don't have inspiration, you don't need inspiration, but that's bullshit. You have to draw some level of inspiration to actually sit down and focus on the craft of writing. Because if you don't have something to talk about or a topic, you can't focus on crafting your words because you're just trying to think of shit to say. So you got to have an inspiration. It's really hard to diss a person that you don't have at least this much beef with. You got to have like a real problem with them to diss them. And so I feel like that's why he apologized. But as we go further on into this, I feel like the problem was a lot of people had a serious issue with Drake. It's beyond a rapping who's better thing. It really is you and your character thing. And I think J. Cole somewhat knew what was about to happen and was like, I just came to rap. Because niggas like, oh, we gotta look at Cole different now because of this. I said, there's not a nigga who in 2023, J. Cole dropped like 3 verses that could be considered verse of the year. I'm never gonna. That's not. I don't know. Like I said, I respect effort. That's not an easy feat. So it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna lower him on my watch call because he didn't want to diss his friend. Like, what the fuck? What type of asshole would I be for that? But
And it's
then, like
not
I
the
said,
first time we
yeah, yeah,
heard J. Cole apologize for something. Like when
yeah.
he feels like he needs to correct something, like he has a track record of kind of being like, you
When
know
him
what,
and No
my
Name,
bad.
when him and No Name had that spat in 2020, he apologized to her and he retweeted her diss song when she dissed him. Like that's who Cole. Like that's a real character thing for Cole. I don't
Yeah,
think. And
it wasn't his first time doing
I
that.
love Zodiacs. Cole is an Aquarius. We do process this life a little different, and it's
This is
usually
true.
not like the the norm, or not the norm, but not like the. It's a little outward thinking sometimes. It's like, yeah, I know that's what everybody's doing, but everybody can be stupid. That's a common thought of us. So yeah,
Now, Kendrick Lamar, on the other hand, is a Gemini, and I feel like we've seen we've seen a couple of different sides of him
personalities.
during this whole as this whole thing has unfolded, and
Hmm.
it's like the entire time he's had issues with Drake. I feel like he started with Euphoria from a very intellectual standpoint, like let me just and you'll understand why I'm saying this. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a big Broadway fan, Alexander Hamilton fan. It
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of Alexander Hamilton and how at first he tried to talk to Aaron Burr, and he was like, "Here's an outline of all our disagreements. I'm gonna just break it down all the ways for you that we did not get along, and I'm gonna put it out there. This is why I can't apologize because all these things are true. That's it, and we don't have to take it no further." And Aaron Burr was like, yes, the fuck we do. And then they shot each other, right?
Hmm.
It just escalated like that. And to me, it kind of felt like Kendrick started from that very intellectual, calm place. Like, let me just make it clear. Yes, I have a problem with you. These are the issues I have with you. And it doesn't really need to go further than this. And now it feels like he's kind of. I told somebody the other day, I was like, this was before, actually, I think I said this yesterday, before Not Like Us came out. I was like, it's been a while since we've really heard backseat freestyle Kendrick. Or like some of the stuff that he's done on features. Like I don't think this is a commonly known feature, but Kendrick Lamar's interlude on Absol's I forget which album it is, but it's Terrence Martin in the background playing saxophone and Kendrick Lamar is on the interlude, and the style of rapping was just so violent and so aggressive, and we hear that from Kendrick sometimes, but it's been a while
Hmm.
since we've heard that. But it was one of my favorites because of that. And I was like, we haven't heard that Kendrick yet. And it's been a little bit since we've heard that Kendrick. We've heard pensive Kendrick, the I have a lot to get off my chest, the I've been going to therapy, let me share with you what I've learned Kendrick. We've been getting a lot of that. It's been a while since we heard this, let me go on the offensive and really attack niggas Kendrick.
Exactly.
So are you seeing that same thing, and why do you think that happened?
Uh, Let me think. I don't know that I want to. Well, yeah, I guess yes and no, right? So it's like it depends on
Oh no, he froze. Or did I freeze?
it's the morale or not. But so yeah, it has kind of been a while since we heard Kendrick like that. But I do know that like anytime he does a feature, certain songs like you just hear, it's on him. He has that in him, that aggression. That's just how he carries himself. Kendrick carries himself like, yeah, I'm cool, but I'll punch you in the mouth. I would, and not even like a questionable would he punch me in the mouth. It's like no, he'll punch you in the mouth. But if he ain't got no reason to punch you in the mouth, he won't. So he actually is a cool person. Because if he ain't got no reason to do, he ain't gonna do shit to you. But if I got a reason to, it's not a hesitant thing as to whether I'm gonna fuck you up or not. And like I said, as he said in Control, as he said in Like That, he makes that clear in the sport of rapping. Similar to Michael Jordan made it clear in the sport of basketball, I step on this court to fuck you niggas up. I step in when Mike Tyson get in the ring, he let it be known. I step in this ring to be the problem. I'm the problem. It is time for you to solve me. Kendrick has always had that air about himself. So it's like even if he's not saying it, it's there. You just hear it. It's always there.
Now, what about from Drake's side? Does Drake have some sort of issue with Kendrick besides just these subliminal lines that everybody was like, oh, they're about Drake, but he never said they were? Because I feel like Kendrick has been very explicit in what he doesn't like about Drake. It
Uh,
doesn't feel like to me Drake has been as explicit. It feels like Drake is trying to tell other people why they shouldn't like Kendrick, but it doesn't feel like he's been as explicit in saying, I
I
don't actually like these things about you.
I think when you're talking about Drake, if I'm in his shoes, if I'm looking at it from looking at it from, I think he just look at it like this nigga has just been a hater. This nigga just wants to be. He wants what I have. He wants the reign that I have, and you want to beat me. So it's like a personal thing. In his head, it's like another day in the office. Another nigga trying to come for my spot. But the problem with that is, no, this nigga really had like it's like as I listen to Drake's disses from my perspective, it's like, oh, you're rapping like you don't understand that this nigga is not trying to take your head off to be the number one. He has a problem with you. like I said, some people are competing. It's like him and Cole came to the court with the same idea, but then Cole peeped around and seen a couple niggas with black and knew what was finna happen because he from the hood. And Drake not. So Cole was like, yeah, I'm gonna go home. I just go hoop at the other court over there. And Drake's like, nah, I'm still finna hoop with these niggas. And he's like, no, nigga, you're not finna hoop with shit. These niggas are finna air this motherfucker out. But you don't know that because you're not from our environment. You're from our environment. You know how I look. You know what's finna happen here. But it feels like that. It just feels like Drake's looking at it like, this nigga has always been on my dick. Like, you want to be me. But Kendrick is like, nigga, I so don't want to be you. And these are the reasons why I don't want to be you. And nobody fucking likes you, nigga. I'm just the only nigga big enough to tell you that.
Oh, yikes. Um, okay, so let's talk about some of the things that were said in the songs that came out this weekend.
Okay.
William in Philly says the accuracy, by the way. So good analogy there. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that have been said this weekend.
Yeah.
So let's kind of start with where we are with talking about why Kendrick doesn't like Drake. So there was a section of Family Matters where I think it was Family Matters. These are starting to run like they're connected in my
Okay,
mind.
so to help out, Drake only has like two official ones. It's Family
Okay.
Matters and Push Ups. Those are his
Okay,
two
so it's
official
definitely
ones.
Family Matters. So
Okay.
he has a section in there where he says something to the effect of you rap like you're trying to free the slaves, right? That wasn't well received by a lot of people. And a friend and I were talking last night about how
Mm-hmm.
people might receive that line because I was making the point that there are people who didn't like To Pimp a Butterfly, and it felt like it was for the reasons that Drake was explaining.
Yeah,
They
a
didn't like
lot of
his. Oh,
I was gonna say a lot of people that I'm around, especially like I'm in Nashville now, but I'm from Memphis. So like the culture of music and all that down there is so southern laced and so heavy. So for southern rap, it really is more about the cadence and the bounciness of the cadence and the beats than it is lyrical content or being a super lyrical artist. So that's a lot of the sentiment in Memphis. Like I'm looking at my timeline, like you niggas are idiots. Fucking idiots. Like, do you know what good music is? But niggas like, man, so all of that, but that's a real sentiment. Like, so many people on my Facebook and Twitter was like, yep, that's exactly how you rap. Like some black people, so many of them saying, yep, that's it. You rap like you trying to free the slaves. And I'm like, in the moment in which Drake's actual, let me think, how can I word this? His positioning in black culture, whether he's actually of black culture or not, in the moment where that's being questioned, it's like, yeah, you probably would want to read the room even with your diss song. I would think
yeah.
that. But so many people, maybe I misread the room because I did see a lot of niggas agree with that shit.
I wouldn't say you misread the room. I think they're just different rooms because,
Mm-hmm.
like, I've seen some of the stuff that you've seen, but we still
Mm-hmm.
have mutuals from way back in the day. So there's some stuff that
Mm-hmm.
comes up on your timeline that still pops up on my timeline, even though we haven't physically been in each other's presence
Yeah.
for like a decade, which needs to be rectified ASAP. But we'll get
Yes.
to that later. But so that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, Drake is talking to those people. Drake is talking to the people who did not like To Pimp a Butterfly, who didn't get To Pimp a Butterfly, who didn't like having to study To Pimp a Butterfly, right? So those
Mm-hmm.
people do exist. But my friend pointed out, he was like, no, there are going to be some people who, one, just don't like Drake invoking the imagery of slavery in the first place. And
Exactly.
two, they're not going to look at that as a bad thing. And they're going to have a problem with Drake saying that. And I was like, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Because what I would hate is for Drake to actually start winning off that line, which is like, so I feel like to support a line like that, you would have to be admitting, like, yes, I like dumbed down music. I don't like music
Well,
that makes me think. I don't like music with a message. I
well,
don't
but
like music that has layers and entendres. Um,
that is the
yes, a lot of
sentiment.
people feel that way, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, they won't say that out loud. They'll come up with some other reason why
That's
they have a
listen, man.
problem with music
Listen.
like To Pimp a Butterfly.
I'm gonna say this nigga's name. I didn't say it on my Twitter, but I'll say his name on this podcast. Is fucking. There is a artist from the city of Nashville by the name of D Goods. I can't find out about him. He was actually on the come up during the blog ever moment because I remember before Mac Miller like blew up, he actually had a song with Mac Miller when I was in college. So he was on the rise at that point. I don't know what happened to kind of halt it. Well, I do know what happened, but I would sound like a hater if I say what happened. So I'm not gonna say what happened. But Buddy was on the timeline on Twitter yesterday saying if Nip hadn't died, we wouldn't even care about Kendrick. And he was saying he doesn't like Kendrick calling himself the king of LA when Nipsey Hussle and Dom Kennedy exist. So I said to say, yeah, niggas are showing that they're fucking idiots. Like they are doing that. They are out loud saying the dumbest shit possible. They are letting it be known, hey nigga, I like ignorant shit. I like ignorant music. I like shit that's very simple to make. Which don't get me wrong, like me as an artist, I'm an appreciator of it all because I just look at it all like colors
100%.
for a painting. I look at it all like colors. You know, I might want to be lyrical in my verses on this song, but I still may want my chorus to have this type of bounce. Or, you know, I might want to rap and not think too hard about my lyrics. I might just want to move off the energy. I'm an artist. I just want to create something amazing. That's how I look at it. But there are niggas who make it clear, like, yeah, I'm not trying to think too hard when I'm hearing the lyrics, which to me is like, I don't know. I grew up in the Dipset era. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was listening to Fabulous and them niggas. Like, the shocking me that you niggas say it's all Lil Wayne fans, but saying, like, Lil Wayne was the punchline nigga. That was what we liked about him, is that he said shit that, like, how the fuck did that nigga think of that shit? But now, 20 years later, I ain't trying to think too hard. When I hear my music, man, I just want to hear a nigga get shot over 808.
So let's let's work with that comparison for a second
Yeah.
because you make a good point. There are people who say they love Lil Wayne, but they don't like Kendrick. Where do you think the chasm is that makes some of the same people who love Lil Wayne not like Kendrick?
I think the chasm with that is that, like, when we was introduced to Lil Wayne, even though Lil Wayne was lyrical in the Hot Boys days, like I said, it was the southern hip hop. So the Hot Boys, it really was the bouncer they flow on the beats or whatever. Like Turk, like in fact in Memphis, the whole city of Memphis, Turk is our favorite hot boy. My actual personal favorite hot boy is BG. But if you go to Turk was living in Memphis when he went to jail. Like the city of Memphis loved Turk, right? So that song, is it me, my nigga? Like that flow that he got, niggas love that shit. I was the only thing, the only thing. Like niggas love that shit. So that's how Wayne was rapping. But then in his coming of age, you got these young millennials. We're looking for our dude that we're gonna follow. In his coming of age, the mixtape era, who was the king of the mixtape era? It was Wayne. And Wayne made it cool to be a Southern punchline artist. And he got it from Jay. I remember watching interviews with Birdman. It was like he didn't even like the way Wayne rap because he like, nigga rap like he from the East Coast or some shit. But he made a whole new sound. But like I said, I really do think when the 2010s came in, while we embraced more cadence driven music and more energy driven music, we didn't continue to embrace the fundamentals, because the thing about hip hop, the crux to hip hop is that it is a young genre. But the problem with a genre being led by the youth is, what the fuck? How the fuck can the youth lead when they've never been anywhere? They don't know what the
Facts.
fuck they're going. So because you don't know what the fuck you're going, because you're young, you're not gonna appreciate what came before you. You're gonna push it to the side. These old niggas out the way. But when you push these old niggas out the way, you lose a lot of fundamentals. That's why right now with this Drake and Kendrick thing, it's almost like history in the making. Because in the sense, it's like they were talking about this on Joe Budden podcast earlier today. When are we gonna have a rap battle like this again? Because the crop of rappers behind them don't even care enough to even attempt. Once these niggas hit a certain plateau or level, they stop even putting in effort to make good music. It's like, whatever, I'm here. I'm going to get this ticket regardless whether I show up or not. Like J. Cole, Kendrick, Nicki, Wale, it really do seem like they generation is the last generation who think, I'm going to make great music. I'm going to make something for my fans to appreciate, to hold on to for years. You know, I love some of the newer dudes. I like Rob 49 from New Orleans. That's like one of my favorite new rappers. Dude, like 23, 24. I love that young dude. But when I listen to him, I'm like, bro, until you actually decide I'm gonna be an artist, you're gonna get your buzz, you're gonna be hot right now, and you might just surface and stay there where you at. But like, I want to see you have a chance to be the next Wayne or the next what you call. Same thing with NBA YoungBoy. It's over for that nigga. He's going to, if you're a YoungBoy fan, I'm letting you know now. It is over for that nigga. He going to jail. He going to jail. Ain't nothing they can do. Say that nigga. But the same thing with him. He's supposed to be the number one to me. Like, he's supposed to be Drake's predecessor as far as the biggest, because he's the biggest amongst the youth right now. Anybody that's like 25 and younger, a lot of their favorite rapper is NBA YoungBoy. But similar to his NBA counterpart, John Morant, the nigga stupid. The nigga young, rich, and fucking stupid. And it's not a good mixture. And like I said with hip hop, that's like the crux of hip hop, is that it is a youth led entertainment thing. It's not even youth led. It's just easier to fuck over kids from the hood. That's honestly what it is. So of course we're gonna put more money in them and more marketing dollars into them because we're gonna take more from them. When you get my age, you still the youth. Like Future put out all his biggest songs in his 30s. You're still the youth, but you know what the fuck you doing. You know a little bit about business. You can't fuck that guy over like you can fuck over a nigga that's 18 that's on the run anyway.
Facts,
I done
facts.
said a whole lot there
So
a little bit.
you did, but it's
Yeah,
it's wonderful. It gives us context. I appreciate it. This is why I have you here. Like
yeah.
I did a video about the connection between Euphoria and The Wiz, and then there were some people who asked me if I was gonna keep doing reaction videos, and I'm like, no, see, y'all don't understand. I love Kendrick Lamar and The Wiz.
Yeah.
I'm like, I enjoy hip hop, but I'm not like
Yeah, like I'm in it. I'm 10. Like I just still like since age 16 to this day, I'm 33 now. I just wake up and I go see what's happening with hip hop topics. Who's the new
exactly.
dude? I'm listening
When
to
I
the
need
new.
to
I'm
know what's
into
going on,
it.
I go to you.
Exactly.
And this is facts. This is not
But
exaggeration,
to
people. I
answer that
literally
Wayne
call this
question,
man and be like, "What's going on?"
I did want to finish that Wayne question though, because I know I went on that tangent. But I say that the thing with Wayne is like I said, when we met Wayne, he was already making what we considered to be Southern greatness. So we had already heralded Wayne up. So as he starts to, like I said with NBA YoungBoy, as he starts to get bigger, his fan base has got bigger and stronger. But I think they really just love Wayne. It's not like great rap that they love because Wayne would collaborate with Cassidy, Fabulous, Dipset, all those niggas at that time, right? Niggas that I was listening to, but niggas I was at school with was like, I don't even like this song. Or some of it they got introduced to because of Wayne, but they wasn't on that. They was on this Southern shit. So, you know, at that time down south, Gucci Mane, it was like Wayne and Gucci Mane probably been number one, number two at that time. And T.I. and all that shit. And not that I knock any of that, but it's like there was never an embracing of traditional hip hop, actual traditional hip hop values outside of niggas who really wanted to be good rappers. So I think that's why so many niggas embrace Wayne, but then like didn't embrace lyricism in general. Because even when you see the younger rappers with all the tattoos and shit, that's Wayne. Tattoos, that's Wayne. The Wayne made it be too cool to be tatted. I remember sitting in school and niggas like, I'm getting tatted like Wayne. And then did that shit. My best friend and my little brothers like that. Tattoos everywhere. It came from Wayne. So, you know, I think that's what that was, though. A lot of people didn't recognize Wayne to be like, they didn't look at it like, yo, he's representing hip hop right now. They just like, nah, this is just Wayne. He a nigga like we a nigga.
So basically, the reasons why people like Lil Wayne aren't necessarily connected to lyricism. It just
It's
so happens
like,
that he is lyrical and
it's
people
like,
like him.
it's like the difference between a Lakers fan and a LeBron fan. A lot of niggas was LeBron. A lot of niggas are LeBron fans. So when LeBron leave Cleveland to Miami, they went to Miami. When LeBron leave Miami, go back to Cleveland, they went back to Cleveland. When LeBron leave Cleveland, go to the Lakers, they went to the Lakers. It's like
All
that with
right.
Wayne. Mm-hmm.
And Kendrick just doesn't have that connection with the people, I guess.
Kendrick is like, I don't want to say that. I'm thinking about that boy from the Timberwolves. I don't want to say Anthony Edwards though, because he's too young. I think Kendrick would be. I don't want to say Steph because Drake would technically be Steph in that matter. Well, nah, Drake would actually be LeBron. If we really did about sports currently, Drake would be LeBron, and Kendrick would probably be Steph. It's like, yeah, you know, you cold, but this nigga is smaller than you, and he's on your ass.
Very succinct
and
explanation.
you know he's not a Christian, but he Israelite. So that's like what a Christian like in Super Saiyan. So you know,
Okay, so we're gonna bring it back.
yeah.
Um, so we've got people who are like looking at Kendrick like, all right, I'm not really understanding the double entendre, so on and so forth. So what is it that whenever we talk about the fact that there might be some people who feel like Drake is winning this situation, mainly because it's easier for them to digest Drake's music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think? Actually, I think we got on this topic by discussing the specific line of Kendrick rapping like he's trying to free the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that him using that line like might have kind of lost this whole situation for him? Do you think that's going to backfire enough for him to just kind of throw in the towel at this point?
No,
Because I
cause
mean,
no, it was a
I'm
good
seeing a
line.
lot of people on Twitter calling Drake a colonizer now.
Oh
Um,
well, have you heard "Not With Us" or "Not Like Us" yet?
yes.
Okay, that's what they call lounge.
I know that's what I'm saying. It seems
Yeah,
like a lot of
but
people have taken what Kendrick is saying in response to that section of the
yeah,
song and running with it.
yeah. I feel like I don't think that section of the song will fuck him over because, like I said, I mean, as a rapper, it's a good bar. It's a good bar. It's funny. Like I said, it's funny. It's like in the midst of what you're saying, it kind of look crazy, but I would actually commend him for taking that risk. Honestly, in the midst of this, of what's being accused of you, I'm still gonna take the risk to get on because this is how I know how to diss. Essentially, that's what I look at Drake and think this is how he knows how to do this. So I don't think that bar in particular would hurt him. The only thing that I think would hurt Drake is that not knowing who you going to war with. Almost seems like that's what hurts him in all his beefs. Just not knowing the nigga that you're going to war with, not knowing their motive, not studying your enemy, and not like I'm just some battle general or some shit, but as a person who does compete, I don't think it's ever smart to not study the opposition, to not know who you're up against. It's never a smart. It's never a smart way to go to war. You can tell yourself, I don't give a fuck who it is, because I'm gonna knock him down, but you still gotta know how to knock him down.
Do you think that's why he took that approach and said that in the first place? Do you think he didn't anticipate like how that might backfire?
I don't think he gave a fuck how it was gonna backfire. I think that's what he feel when he listens to Kendrick. I think that Drake's whole image is I'm a swaggy nigga. I'm outside. Bitches like me. Of all ages, Brandon. But I'm outside.
Mm,
And I think that's his energy. And I think when you meet somebody who's not on that type of time, it's kind of hard to process what's going on in the moment. you know, as like I'm not a quote unquote outside nigga or whatever. So like when I'm talking to niggas, like things that I value, the things that I think make sense, the things that I lean towards don't add up to them because it's not. But me and you know had this talk forever. It's not based on monetary values and shit like that. It's like I can make money doing whatever the fuck. So why would I go do some shit that I feel like is detrimental to my image to the people around me to make money? I actually think like that. I think Kendrick actually thinks like that, but I don't think Drake thinks like that. I think Drake thinks like most niggas. I mean, shit, I'm done worse for money. I think that's most niggas' thoughts. Shit, I'm done worse for money.
so from your perspective, is there a winner and a loser right now? And if so,
Oh,
who?
this is what that nigga said. He was Terrence Crawford. when Kendrick said he was Terrence Crawford, I don't know if y'all seen. I can't. Did y'all see where Terrence? Because this is bitches love sports. So the people who watching this are sports people. Y'all saw what Terrence Crawford did to Earl Spence last summer. I feel like that is what Kendrick is doing to Drake right now. Drake is, to me, if I'm being all the way honest, Drake is putting up a fight. The songs that he's rapping his ass off. I'm not lying like he's not. I would never say that he's not rapping. This shit is amazing what he's putting out. But it's not enough when what this person is saying is layered. It's exposing rumors about. It's like no, he really came with a full on onslaught. He studied you. He came to beat your ass, and you just came in the ring. You just thought, man, I'm finna no, nigga. You ain't finna nothing, nigga. It's like these niggas when they be fighting Floyd. You think you just finna no, nigga? No, nigga. Floyd didn't already. That's Kendrick is fighting like Floyd. Because also too, I'm getting in your head. I'm telling you that it's leaks in your camp. You drop your song "Family Matters." I drop a song right after you that addresses everything you said in that song. How the fuck did I know you said that shit? I told you in this other song is leaks in your camp. It's like you was, and you're smart. I think I'm really saying this. If you're smart, if you know how to fuck with people mentally, I can be. Kendrick is an air sign. I'm an air sign. I can be manipulative. I'm more in my head than I am in my emotions a lot of times. I can think around people. I
Facts.
can think this is going to affect them. This is not going to affect them. If you don't have the ability to do that, some niggas you don't need to go to war with. I just.
So so
Mm,
for the people who are looking at this as like a cultural battle, so for the people who are looking at this as like this is a battle of intellectual rap versus more pop style rap, or this is a
mm-hmm,
battle of, I don't know, some people are looking at it as like dark skin versus light skin, or there's been conversations about should Canadian Jewish Drake really be as comfortable as he is saying nigga as he like
mm-hmm.
do you have any thoughts or opinions on that aspect of the whole thing?
I do. Well, being a Memphian and Drake's black card comes from Memphis. I do look at it like I understand what Kendrick is saying when it's like you're not of this culture that breeds, like, I don't know how to word it. It's like when you look at the NBA now and you got so many new basketball players coming in now, right? But they're from middle class and upper middle class backgrounds, and they've been in training camps their whole life since like age 5. They've been in training camps to play basketball. Like, they're being built to come to the NBA versus like if you circle back 15 to 20 years ago, you got like LeBron and niggas like that who really just off the block hooping. Shit, hell, Ja Morant just off the block hooping, just really had to figure out, get it out the mud. There's just a different culture to that. And even me as an artist, I'm not gonna tell you that I was just Mr. Outside nigga. Like, I'm really from the hood. Why the fuck would I want to spend time with you stupid ass niggas doing dumb shit all the time? That's what I thought in my head when I was growing up. So even if I came out, it's like my raps are gonna lean more towards, yeah, I'm just a hip hop nerd, my nigga. I know a lot about rap. I'm not outside like that. But like I said, regardless of that, if you don't really grow up in this culture, then I can understand a person that really comes from this, really grit their teeth outside, had to be in some uncomfortable situations to get in their spot to have an issue with you. You know, if you don't put the work in and you feel like this nigga didn't put the work in, or you know for a fact this nigga didn't put the work in, you're gonna have a problem with it. Especially when you being compared to this nigga, or you being told that this nigga is better than you, and you know you can run laps around this nigga. But such is the black struggle in America. So that's why it taps into a lot of our spirits to hear these things. And like I said, for me, being from Memphis, it's like, you know, I even said that this week. Like, Drake was supposed to have a concert in Memphis that last all of Blur tour. He canceled 3 times. Happy ass down here real quick, hop off in our hood and all that shit. But you don't come down here to talk about the violence that's happening in the city. You don't address nothing that's going on down here. Your dad lives in the city. Yo, why is your dad if you like the richest nigga on earth? You know, I think I told you this story, and like, y'all can believe me, y'all cannot. I believe this guy though. I was driving this guy. I used to do Uber full time. I'm driving this guy. He out there. And he's like, "Hey man, you know who Drake is?" And I'm like, "Nigga, who the fuck?" It's like an old guy. Dude had to been like 62. I'm like, "Nigga, everybody knows who the fuck Drake is." And he was like, "Yeah, man, like that's my nephew." He's like, "I ain't never heard none of his damn songs." That's when I knew he was telling the truth. The old heads in Memphis do not listen to new music. They listen to that 70s shit all goddamn day. So I knew he was telling the truth. But your whole family, you got a whole family down here in our city while it's turning up. Niggas are doing all types of dumb shit at a higher rate than ever before. Why the fuck would you leave them down here? So even just that, the cultural thing. What's the first thing black kids from the hood, from America say when they get some money? I'm moving my mama out the hood. I'm moving my dad out the hood. You don't want your family in that shit no more. So even that part of the cultural thing is like, you're not of this culture and you're cosplaying us. But the problem is you actually are black. So it's even weirder watching you do it.
You cosplaying us is crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, and everything you do is calculated. So it's like you got to do it because you know that's more attractive to women. You know what I'm saying? You got your, we seen your chin when you first came. You didn't have a chiseled chin. You had the, I stand up straight, still have a double chin, even though I'm skinny. That's what you had when you came in. Now you look like the fucking Crimson Chin. It's all calculated, my nigga. All of this is to be more attractive, to draw more people to you. We get it, but you're cosplaying. You know, you want to post up with Metro, not Metro Boom. You want to post up with 21 Savage. You want to post up with Future. You want to post up with all these niggas who really lost homies out here in this shit or whatever. You cosplaying. You trying to be something that you're not. Now, do I hate it? No, I don't personally give a fuck. But I do understand why a large group of us would have a problem with that, especially the way that Kendrick is laying it out. Because that's what makes it worse. It's like he's laying it out in a way that, like, damn, you know what? I never even thought about this. I never thought about it like that. Like, he's
Facts.
really changing your image right in front of you.
And I also felt like Drake, or not Drake, I felt like Kendrick probably took it personally when Drake tried to accuse him of not doing anything for his hood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the truth is, anybody who actually like follows Kendrick, not just his music, but has been following him for years, he actually does a lot for not only Compton but various neighborhoods throughout California. But
Mm-hmm.
he's also been very intentional about asking people not to make a big deal out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody was like, "Well, tell me he's not doing the backpack drive or throwing turkeys." No, it's not been shit like that. He's been like donating computers and other technology to
Mm-hmm.
schools so that students can have, and I mean, like, not like colleges, like high schools, like,
Schools, yeah.
for kids so that they can
Mm-hmm.
have updated technology. He's been raising money for them to get actual school supplies that really help them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's been very intentional about not letting word get out. So it's hard to like keep a tally on everything that's been going on. But I think there's just been a lot of misconceptions that people bought into, that being one of them. I think a lot of people thought that because Kendrick left and formed PG Lang, that there must be some issue between him and Top. I don't think there is. I think Kendrick wanted to do other things.
Yeah,
There's
Top
other
Dog has
things that
actually
he
came
has.
out. Oh, my bad. Apologize for interrupting. Top Dog has actually came out recently to say like, nah, that's still family. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not. He's not under contract with us no more, but that's family for life.
Yeah, Kendrick wanted to pursue other opportunities that just didn't really fit with what Top Dog was trying to do. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like instead of trying to change what TDE is, Kendrick was like, "All right,
Let me
well, I
start
will
my own
create
thing.
my own entity that will
Mm-hmm.
do what I want to do." Like I forgot what he did recently. I can't remember which fashion brand, but it was some sort of couture line that he did a campaign with, and that's just some shit
Mm-hmm.
that is like not necessarily under the TDE umbrella. So I get that. So I feel like Drake is taking advantage of a lot of people's misconceptions about Kendrick, which I feel like is a
Mm-hmm.
big mistake. And I feel like Kendrick took that personally, which I don't blame him. But I do
Man
also feel
said,
like
"Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you."
exactly. But I do feel like Drake. Somebody said somebody said there's no, I think it might have been William and Philly, as a matter of fact. Somebody said there's no way Drake has real ones in his camp because they wouldn't have let him get that line off about rapping like you're trying to free the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like whether you want to consider them real or not, I feel like Drake has a lot of people around him who kind of agree with him, who are somewhat of an echo chamber, and
Drake
they
is a
all agree
billionaire.
with what.
You gotta look
Yeah,
at it like that. Drake is a billionaire. Nobody is telling him no. But I think even if they didn't tell him no, like I said, you have to respect your opponent. Drake is still a high caliber. They called the big three for the reason. All three of them, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole, they are called the big three for a reason. He's still a high caliber rapper. He knows what's going to get people moving. It's like telling the
right.
edgy, if you look at rapping like comedy, right? It's like telling a really, really edgy joke. It's gonna offend some people, but it's gonna make a lot of people laugh. And the combination of offense and laughing is what makes it work. So when I think about that line, I think the same thing. If I say this line, it's gonna offend some people, but the offense is gonna help it become wider. Especially considering I don't know that my enemy has already heard it. It's gonna put out a song 30 minutes later.
That whole situation was wild. There were
That's
people
crazy.
literally in the middle of a live stream, like reviewing Drake's song, and then it was like, wait, what? Kendrick just dropped? I think those are some of my funniest moments to watch this morning, of
Yeah.
just like watching people respond as they're trying to respond to Drake, and it's like, what? Kendrick just dropped? What do we do? Like, should
Yeah.
we listen to it right now? Um, but no, I feel like Drake has a lot of people reinforcing that message around him, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Kendrick, I don't know. I don't know if this is my bias speaking, but I feel like he just has a little bit of a better perspective in terms of how people are thinking and feeling about each of them as artists.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
think, yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, I just think like I think this is just two different types of people. And I think, when you take it away from rapping, you just go into character and all of that. Like, and that's a lot of that's I made the joke last night that Kendrick is barring Drake up with good old fashioned conservative values, which is still hilarious to me. But it's like, just different types of people. I think like Kendrick really, I don't know how to word it. It's like, yo, I'm actually here to call you out for being a filthy fucking scoundrel. Like, yeah, I'm rapping really good, but yeah, I'm really actually calling you out as a terrible person. And like I said, Drake is just like, yo, I'm still trying to be jiggy. I'm trying to be the hottest nigga, period. It's like just period. I'm trying to be the hottest nigga. So if this is the line that's gonna, because even Drake's angle, like we've been talking so much on that line that we hadn't gotten to his angle, and I don't know if you're gonna lead to that, but just his actual angle that he's
Take
attacking
us there.
Kendrick with is that you're supposed to be so pro black, but you don't even like being dark skinned so much that you married a biracial woman, and not only that, but that woman is cheated on you. And you have a fetish for white women. This is like Drake's angle, so which is hilarious because I was been thinking all night. I was like, Drake's like, well, you like white bitches, and Kendrick is like, yeah, and you like them under 18. So like, I mean, who's worse? Like, who's really the disgusting pervert. But it's
I
like
shouldn't
even
be
just
laughing
that
at that.
angle, even the angle of I'm gonna call you out for liking white women, right? It's like, oh, because that's what's gonna jump on Twitter. Like that's what's
Hmm.
gonna pop on social media. Oh, you supposed to be pro-black, but you like white women. All right, cool. But in real life, you're actually around convicted sex offenders, and you have them on your payroll. No, you can say that I like white women. Okay, cool. Some niggas just like women, bro. Yeah, she look good. She look
No,
good.
I'm actually glad you put that out there because like I have really been trying to figure out what is Drake's angle. I think we talked a little bit about
Mm.
what is the problem that Drake has with Kendrick, which, I was trying to figure that out from the very beginning. I'm just like,
Yeah,
how
I don't think Drake had I don't think he himself had an actual real deep seated issue with Kendrick. I really think he looked at it as like competition as who's the top guy in rap. I this whole time this is what Drake's looked at it like. And I don't, like I said, just not knowing your opponent. I don't think he look at it like, no, maybe you do have moral issues with some of the things that I've been rumored to do, some of the things I've been rumored to operate within this industry that we both operate in. Maybe I've hurt people that are close to you in this industry. I don't think he's thinking about any of that. I think he's just looking at it like, nah, nigga, you just want to beat me. And hell, for all we know, that really could be the root of all. Because I don't fucking know Kendrick. So, it could be the root of all of it. At the core of all this shit, this masterclass of battle that Kendrick is showing us here, at the root of it, it could be, nah, nigga, I just want the top spot. Fuck you. It could be. But, way to show you got that Jordan in you, because, I mean, damn, nigga, if destroy a nigga like this to get this spot. Like, I'm more like Cole in these situations. I don't give a fuck that much, nigga. Like, hey, you can have it. I compete because I like to compete, but you can have the spot, nigga. But for all we know, shit, Kendrick could be full of shit, and this could just be to take Drake's spot. But it really does seem like, no, I have a problem with you. Like, no, I actually don't like you. I don't like how you operate. I don't like just not just style of music. I don't like your style of business. I don't like your style of creation. Like, I really don't fuck with none of this. On top of you being a freaky frog, I just don't fuck with none of it.
do you think anything that Drake has said so far is actually damaging to Kendrick?
No, damaging to Kendrick, no. I think he said some clever. He said some like this nigga rapping, like he's rapping his ass off. Cause I like push ups. I like that diss song. Like me and girls listened to it earlier, and I was rapping at the same time I've been rapping Kendrick shit. So I like it. But I think if you're saying damaging to his career, it's like nah. I mean, like if it's just like how did we describe it? Me and my girls talking about it earlier. If we were all on the playground, right? Drake is like the bully, the kid who got the money that's making fun of you, right? But then when you start talking about like, yo, but you know your dad don't love you. That's why he'll never come to your games. And you say that, and then now everybody's just looking at him, not fucking with him. But he's really hurt. Like, you really said something hurtful. Like he was trying to bully you, but it's like, no, nigga, I know your real life though. Like, nah, nigga, but your
Yikes.
mom got her OnlyFans for like $2 a month. That's how y'all be getting like food. That's how you get them Jordans. You know, that's how that
Oh my
happens.
God.
And I'm not against sex work or nothing like that. But as I tell a lot of my homegirls, if you have a teenage son, having an OnlyFans that is active is the worst thing you can do to him because his little teenage friends, especially in this day and age where they had the Cash App cards. When I was a kid, you just wasn't gonna get no subscription on the porn website. You watch your 30-second clip with your life. But now they got Cash App cards. A nigga can really get your mom's OnlyFans and show you what your mom is doing in fifth period. So I look at it like that. It's like Kendrick is like showing Drake his mom's OnlyFans. It's like that. It's like you don't realize, like I keep saying, I scared to go back to that. You're looking at this like this is competitive, and this person is really trying to take your head off.
I was
Like
really
you,
trying to just coast past that and go back into the conversation. Oh my God. What the fuck? What was I about to say? God, I hate when you do this.
my bad.
um, favorite lines. We'll go with that. What are some of your favorite lines so far from this whole situation?
Um, it's really an insignificant line, but it's in Euphoria. He said something about Yachty can't sell you swag. I don't give a fuck who you around. And it's not even like a significant line. Like it was just, it's how he said it. I said, like, I know he got kids because he said it in such a black dad tone. I don't give a fuck who you're around. You better bring motherfuckers around That's how it gave me that energy. That's been my favorite line. And then the second favorite line is when he asked Drake, "What is it, the Braves?" And that's because my girlfriend just keep randomly yelling at, and it's
She said,
hilarious.
"What is it? What? Oh,
You
the
know,
braids."
yeah, what is it, the Braves? It's just hilarious to keep yelling at. That's been my favorite stuff from Kendrick. From the other three songs, I just haven't gotten to listen to them enough. Like, pick out my. Well, you know what? Nah, I'll take that back. Not Like Us. My favorite was he trying to strike a chord, and I think it's A minor. That was my favorite line.
I think that was
Not
the
Like
first one my
Us.
eyes got big on. I was
That
like, "Oh
it
my
was me. That's when we paused it. Hey, look, I'm
god!"
telling y'all, we paused it. My girlfriend, we have a 2-year-old. His name is Ace, most adorable kid in the world. We listening to it. It's a must be, so he's dancing to it. We heard that line and we paused it because we was like, "What just happened? What was just said?" And Ace walked up to me and he looked at me mad. He's like, "Turn it back on." we trying to process what this man just said. And Ace
Hold
like, "I
on,
ain't
let
trying to
me
hear
pull.
that shit."
I'm gonna pull up some of the lyrics to.
Yeah.
Uh, let's
But
see.
that was my favorite on that. But I in Drake's songs Push Ups, I did have some favorites in there. And I don't care what nobody say. When he of course everybody's favorite, and that is Metro shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga. Also something that's hilarious to yell for no reason. But also Drake saying, how you big stepping in a size 7 shoe. Hilarious. I know a lot of people like, oh, that's whatever. That wasn't that good. I'm sorry. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. Can I tell you like my hot take?
Sure, go for it.
My hot take for this whole battle is that this is Big Pharma's marketing ploy for Ozempic. That is really my hot take. I've not I not have I heard this fucking drug be mentioned so much in the last fucking 5 weeks than in these goddamn raps.
That's not
All
a
of
hot
them.
take. That's a
Ozempic,
conspiracy
Ozempic,
theory.
Ozempic. Okay, conspiracy theory. Hot take. This is what I believe that these niggas are being paid by pharmaceutical companies to use a rap beat to
So this is
promote
an Ozempic
Ozempic.
sponsored rap beef.
I believe that. I wish I wasn't saying it because I feel like I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm throwing it out there. So, throw me something too because I need it, guys. But yeah, I don't know. It's like on the one, it's a rap beat, but I'm like, nah, for real. Y'all really have thrown this one drug around a lot. I didn't know what this shit was until like March, and I'm like, it's been used so much in rap disses that I'm like, y'all gotta be getting a check from this somewhere.
Well, if they weren't using it to market, maybe they will now. I
Because
guess they were
look,
like, it seems to work for liquor. Like, when it comes to liquor brands, if they say it enough in a song, people just start buying the shit. So maybe
Ozempic had to get
it'll work
myself
for us.
skinny.
I mean, he had Ozempic on the fucking cover art. That's like ad.
Big Pharma is marketing Ozempic through hip hop rap beefs. So rappers, if you're gonna have problems with people, if you're gonna, I feel like for any rapper, like it's cool that we put stuff out for the art, but if you're gonna do any of this shit publicly, like to me, your beef is making yourself look stupid publicly. Because when I have a problem with somebody, like a serious problem with somebody, I'm not publicly talking about it. I may tell you because we're friends. I'm not talking to everybody about it because I got a problem with that person. I don't even want to mention this nigga name. So I'm like, if you really are having that problem with a person that you're gonna make it public father, where people are gonna make fun of you or whatever off of it, damn, you get a check from it. Go to Drake Way, get that damn check.
Agreed. So
I
what do you
know he
think
got an
happens
Ozempic
next?
check.
Do you think Drake is gonna have a response?
um, I if we considering history, right? So let's think about 2018 when we had Drake versus Pusha T with Story of Adnan. When Pusha T put that information out there that Drake had a hidden song, and then we found out it was true, Drake stopped at that point. I feel like in this situation, it's like, dog, the last song that was released a couple of hours ago, the cover art was a picture of your house with 13 little like black faces in them, not like black people faces, but just like I don't know, kind of like the little Google Maps guy or whatever, just a little black
Mhm.
figure face, right? That was like the sexual predator app.
Yeah.
That is the cover art of this project. I say that to say, if people finding out you had a child that was 2 that you wasn't talking about made you end the beef, I definitely think 13 sexual predators just being in your house at once on a app that is designed to point them out would definitely make you say, you know what? It's not worth it. I lost. Whatever. We're done with this. Cause like at this point, if Kendrick does keep going at this clip, it's like, dog, this is gonna affect any business endeavors you have at some point. This is a climate where that is not being tolerated. Like even me and you had the conversation, like I told you, a vulnerable moment to the public. I knew what sex trafficking was, like in the grandiose picture of it, like you get from Hollywoods and movies and shit. But by definition in law, I didn't know like what exactly it was. So in the time where they're cracking down on it and they're pointing it out and everybody's making it clear that this is not something we appreciate as a culture, you better off just taking the public loss. And it's just like, you know what, you out rapped me, my nigga. Fuck it. So if I'm Drake and I'm smart, I'm done with it at this point. I'm done with it at this point. But if I'm Drake and I'm quote unquote just being competitive, or I think this is still just the time to keep rapping with a nigga, then I probably will go back to the drawing board and try to make another diss. But it's like on Drake's end, it's like, well, you have to find some real dirt about Kendrick. You can't just say, oh, your wife might be cheating with her manager. And that might be your manager's son that looks just like you. It's got your ears, your nose, and your eyes, but that's your manager's son. Like, you got to come, like, you got to have the pictures of, you got to play the audio of Whitney giving that man a blowjob. Play
I
the audio
mean,
and then rap over, make it a sample and rap over there. Like,
oh God.
you gotta take it there. And if you're not going to, fucking Kendrick diss Jay Prince. You are in Texas right now. That is a very dangerous man. Or allegedly very dangerous man. Kendrick dissed him as well. This nigga don't give a fuck. That's what I
Clearly.
took from that. So I'm like, if I'm Drake, I'm not making another move. I'm ending it. I'm like, you know what? You got it, bro. Because I'm still Drake at the end of the day. A couple months are gonna go by. He's gonna drop a new slap. People are gonna listen to it. They're gonna get the album. Like, you're still Drake at the end of the day. Whether you're a scumbag or not, it don't fucking matter. Kanye is a fucking public scumbag, and we just let him be a scumbag. It don't fucking matter. But if I'm Drake, I'm done with it. But if he's in this competitive spirit where he's like, no, I'm just not gonna let a nigga beat me, even though you're clearly beat. Like I said, I'm not saying like people have to like Kendrick's music or none of that shit, but it's like if you're talking about strategic art of war type shit, man, you been beat, dog. This nigga kicking your ass, man. He really kicked you. He really outthought you throughout all of this shit. So it's like you probably should step back. But who knows? He might be like, nah, fuck that shit. I did that with Pusha. I'm standing up. I'm gonna walk. What you say? I'm gonna stand tall. I'm gonna pick my chin up, like my mama told me. He said that at a concert after Like That dropped. I was like, boy, you finna get your ass whooped. You do not know who you fucking with. I seen Kendrick. We saw Kendrick together in real life. That nigga is 5'5" from Compton. That nigga will probably fuck a nigga up for real. And if he won't, the nigga run with J Rock and Q. So if he won't, them niggas, if none of them niggas gonna do some shit, J Rock gonna do it. You gonna do it. And if you run
I'm
with them niggas, you have to be able to do some shit too.
not wrong. I'm kind of with you on that one. I've been wondering, like, after Meet the Grams dropped, I was like, okay, Drake is probably gonna say something. But then after Not Like Us dropped, I was kind of with you. I was like, I don't know if I would want to keep going if I was Drake.
Yeah, I just don't. He
And
said that rabbit hole gets deeper. It's like leave it.
right, right, right. Um,
It's still,
Now if something does
that's
happen,
why
I don't know.
Cole did was commendable because it's like Cole is still like.
Are
Oh,
you
okay.
there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze for like a minute. Go back
Yeah.
to what you were saying when you said that's why what Cole did was commendable.
I said because Cole is Cole at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you can make their jokes. They can say what they ever want by he ain't keep it hip hop. But if you get on a song with him, you still gotta out rap him, and there's a very good chance that you're not gonna out rap him because even when he wasn't operating, like Cole will tell you now, like when he does interviews, he'll tell you now that he writes a rap every day now. Like he really does record and do it every day now. But when he wasn't doing it like that, he was big three. He was already at the top of the food chain when he wasn't doing it. So it was like you're gonna have a hard day rapping with him, no matter who you are. You see, this is my thing, Cole. The reason I say that shit. You see what he did to Drake on the track. I don't give a fuck if niggas like, oh, well, Drake wasn't really trying to rap with him. Dude. If you ain't really trying to rap with me, nigga, then you showing you ain't a competitor. Because it ain't no way me as an artist, nigga, I don't give a fuck. Then you put Jay-Z and Cole on the song, guess what I'm going to do? Put my best fucking verse. You going to say Denzel, they beat him, but Denzel wasn't going. And that shit on first person shooter. I'm like, hey nigga, stop. Who to go? Go ahead. Who? Not you, nigga. What Coach got done doing? Not you. It's not you, nigga. But no, like I
Well,
said, yeah. At this point, I said that's why Cole did was commendable. He seen what was going on, and he was like, you know what? I'm still gonna be Cole at the end of the day. All these jokes and shit is gonna happen, but it's gonna subside. Next year it's gonna subside. I'm gonna drop some shit. Niggas gonna remind themselves, oh damn, this nigga rapping his ass off, and it's gonna go on. You know, same thing happened with Meek. Meek went through that shit with Drake. Some time went by. He dropped whatever that album was, Champions. That shit did 200,000 first week. It's like, you know, this shit subsides. You know, at the end of the day, you kind of, but if you're insecure or if like the public liking you and embracing you is what feeds you, which I think is the situation with Drake because he never takes a break. If that's what feeds you, then you don't know how to take that step back and be like, I'm still gonna be me at the end of the day. You know, but this is me thinking that. I don't know that nigga, so he might, who knows. But how it looks and how it comes off, that's what I'm seeing.
yeah, agreed. I mean, I feel like even if you're doing this all as a ploy or for attention or
Mm-hmm.
because you feel like, this person's trying to get my spot or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
at some point you have to acknowledge whenever things are getting serious. And I've honestly been wondering that ever since I heard Euphoria. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said at the very beginning, like how many times can you accuse someone of what's typically a very serious crime that I feel like it's only being like swept under the rug because it's on music. Which
Mm-hmm.
ironically, this is a random fact. The only reason what's on music can't be submitted into a court of law now is because of what happened with Eminem back in the day
Mm-hmm.
when he got sued so many times and then people kept trying to bring up his lyrics in court, and so then finally the courts were like, all right, if it's artistic expression, it can no longer be considered evidence in the court of law. You can't
Yeah.
present that as
But
evidence.
then, no,
um
also, I think they overturned that recently because of this Young Thug case.
did they?
I
Now that would
think
be
either
something.
if they hadn't overturned it, they're trying to get it overturned because of the Young Thug case. And I ain't gonna lie, in the case of that shit, I'm actually in the favor of it. People can feel how they want to feel, but at the end of the day, if people really die behind a fucking rap feud, niggas are actually dead in real life. Then I don't give. Nah, I'm for real. I don't give a fuck
No,
to
I'm
see a
not
nigga
laughing at
free.
you. M
Yeah,
Sports said tell that to Young Thug in all capital letters in response to me. So I was laughing at
man.
that.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, man, I don't give a fuck. You can be the best rapper in the world. People dead because of a fucking rap feud. You got all these young kids in this city wilding out because of fucking music. Nah, nigga, you sit your ass in fucking jail. Like, nigga, it's real life. At the end of the day, it's real life. You know, I don't want niggas to be in jail, but I also want our neighborhoods to be somewhat, they're never going to be crime free, but, I hate to sound like I'm old or whatever, but it's like that was the time in Memphis what the thing was. If you ain't in the streets, you ain't got shit to worry about. And that was a real thing. If you really wasn't active in the streets doing shit, you have to worry about niggas shooting at you or no shit like that because you ain't doing shit to get shot at. But that ain't the case now. And it's like, I do believe not all of it is the music. I think it's just a shift in American culture in general as far as gun culture and all that. I do think in the 2010s, exposure to guns in general, whether through video games, music, mainstream news, social media, it just boosted a lot in the 2010s, and that's what leads us to this new culture of people just killing people like it ain't shit. But I do think the music had a part in that as well, and I do think if you yourself as an artist is implicated in a lot of crime and a lot of murder and shit, then yeah, you need to fucking go to jail like any other nigga who's doing that shit need to go to jail. So,
That
but
is
Young
something that
Thug, I'm still
they
gonna stream your music. So you get a check. You can get your honey buns. That nigga got fat as hell in jail. He didn't have too many honey buns. You need to cut them off.
that is something that they've actually proven recently that in a nutshell, people don't learn direct actions to take from music, but
Mm-hmm.
they will learn values from music. So, in other
Mm-hmm.
words, um, M Sports said sorry for the caps. It's all good. I appreciate you for being active in the chat. But yeah, so in other words, like let's say I listen to a lot of trap music and I'm hearing just about shooting people and selling crack all day or selling
Mm-hmm.
drugs all day. Is not gonna make me just go out and start doing that unless I have easy access to those things. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
in an environment where that's encouraged and I have easy access to those things, I might. But if I don't already have access to those things, it's highly likely that I won't start living that lifestyle. But what will happen is some of the other themes and values that are expressed in the music, like not respecting authority, or
Mm-hmm.
looking at violence as a way to solve problems, or
Mm-hmm.
hypersexuality or misogyny, stuff like that. is the kind of
And
stuff that'll end up being adopted by people. So that's been
which
some
is
really interesting
crazy,
studies
because
done.
like on the other side of that too, like, and it's not a thing of saying, well, our music was better than the kids' music, but I will say that when I was listening to trap music as a kid, all that, they rapped about violence, but then they also was like, yeah, nigga, go out here and make your money. Go be an entrepreneur. They would also rap about T.I. and Jeezy. Them rapped about business ventures in their music too. They rapped about being street niggas, but they also rapped about I got this, that, and the other. And even Nipsey put that energy out there. And that led to this new crop of adults that we call millennials, all of us being entrepreneurs and shit like that. Cause we took that from the music as well. So I will say for me it felt like it was more balanced. And even when I listen to that shit now, it's like it just seemed like we had more balance amongst the what's called when it came
I
to
feel like
music
that's
versus
because they were telling stories. It wasn't like they were trying to use their music to make themselves look a certain way.
yeah,
It was more so that they already were a certain way and they were using their music
to
to
express
just
themselves.
basically talk about their life. And their life did
Hmm.
consist of violence and it did consist of illegal activities, but it also consisted of their entrepreneurial endeavors and their attempts to
Hmm.
like make their lives better. Um, but getting back to the whole Kendrick and Drake thing to wrap up, because I know you got to go to bed soon.
Yeah.
Um, I can't even remember the last question I was about to ask because you already said what you predict is going to happen next, which I'm kind of watching RDC World at this point to see what they say because they just seem to be on it
They like this.
when it
They like
comes
the
to the
Simpsons.
predictions. Yeah, I was
RDC said it.
he said drop the other one tomorrow, and Kendrick was like, "Okay." Leland said drop the other one tomorrow, so I'm gonna here y'all go. Um, that shit is wild, and they haven't put out anything today. Um, but yeah, that's been interesting. So I don't know. I'm still just watching. Me being a Kendrick fan, I'm with
Hmm.
you in saying that I feel like Kendrick's won this. The only reason why I was doubting it because I was just wondering how much of a hold Drake might actually have on pop culture for
Hmm.
people to end up taking his side when it comes to the
Hmm.
way Kendrick raps not being popular, or maybe his songs being a little bit easier to dance to or feel good to, kind of
Hmm.
winning people over, and people by their own admission not
Hmm.
wanting to like really study lyrics and get into like the meaning behind the meaning a lot of times.
Kendrick said, "I make music to motivate them. You make music to create them." And Yasin Bey earlier this year made similar statements when he was like, he said Drake makes target music, music that you listen to while you shop or whatever. Which is like, he had to come back and apologize. Unfortunately, to Drake. This is why I think Kendrick is standing up for people, because it's like niggas have to come back and apologize and pretend like they don't have a problem with you because you're the biggest artist out here. So, like you said, when you got a nigga that's kind of the same caliber as you and technically independent right now, or at least straight PG lane to Interscope, it's like actually he kind of can do what he wants to do in this moment. But yeah, my
Do you
bad.
feel like
I mean,
Kendrick has
mhm.
nothing to lose, or do you feel like he doesn't care about the consequences of this,
I think
or that
Kendrick
he
doesn't
just
care
thinks he'll
about the
win?
consequences. I think Kendrick doesn't care about the consequences of this. I think at the end of the day, like I said, the same thing I said similar to Drake, Kendrick's career is already came. He won a Pulitzer Prize. All his albums are like platinum dams, his biggest album, his career is there. He's already in the rafters. Kendrick is one of them niggas, whether you like it or not. He's gonna be a hip hop artist that you hear about for the next 20 to 30 years. Whether niggas like it or not. So I do think like for him it's like all cards on the table, because if I lose, I'm still Kendrick. I already made all my money. Baby King's my little cousin. He's a superstar on the come up. I have other artists that are superstars on the come up anyway on my label. So it's like, what the fuck do I lose from this? And if he is grounded in religion as he sings, death is not going to be as much of a fearful factor for you, because me and you grew up in the church, and one thing they push in the church is like, to be absent from the body is to be one with God. So if you truly 100% believe that, death is not gonna scare you the same way it's gonna scare someone who's a little more secular. So I believe even in that aspect of it, I don't think Kendrick is thinking too much about how this ends. But that's always gonna work to your advantage in combat. If you go into war with the idea that I'm gonna die anyway, you're gonna fight harder because you're finna die. Like you said, you think you're gonna die anyway. You don't expect to leave that battlefield that day, but a motherfucker gonna have to kill you. He's gonna roll over. So,
I think something else about Kendrick is like, well, there's actually a few things that I
Mm-hmm.
think go into how Kendrick has approached this. One, he's referred to himself in the past as a medium for his dead homies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he already looks at himself as having a great responsibility when it comes to speaking for people, just in
Mm-hmm.
general. Um, Two, he's really had to battle with himself a lot. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's nothing that Drake can say that's true that Kendrick would actually be ashamed of or that he
Yeah.
hasn't faced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's been able to put that into words in a lot of ways that like have literally helped other people. And he knows that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you listen to songs like you listen to songs like Mortal Man, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't just, you know, there's some people who are honest about the fact that they struggle with depression and anxiety, which takes a lot of strength to admit. It takes a lot of strength to deal with that, you know, situation in general. So I'm not downplaying that at all,
Mm-hmm.
but to not only admit that you deal with it, but to actually talk about what you went through while dealing with it, and then actually be public about it, and actually be public enough and confront it well enough to actually state it in an artistic way that other people can actually connect to. That
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot. That takes a lot of soul searching. So I feel like this is a situation where Kendrick isn't so self conscious or so afraid of opinions that there's really anything that Drake or anybody else can say or do that would make him not
Mm-hmm.
want to tell the truth as he
Exactly.
sees it right now, especially when it comes to, as you've been saying, the fact that he feels the need to speak up for other people who have had to apologize or not share their opinions about Drake because
Because of
of
the
Drake's
risk.
power.
Yeah, exactly. The risk that it will cost their careers and shit. At the end of the day, it's like, it's like Goku with a spirit bomb. So it's like Goku with a spirit bomb. He could die. He could throw the spirit bomb and he could die with it impacting, or the enemy could die. But either way, the enemy getting the fuck out of here. So as long as I get the enemy, the rest can happen. And not to look at Kendrick as some type of god amongst men and no shit, because I don't think that at all personally. But it's like,
Right.
that's what he thinks. And Mike Tyson has said, a lot of people say it, in order for you to be great like that, you kind of got to be a little off. You gotta be a little crazy to some extent. You got to step out into the deep end a little bit. So,
Facts.
yeah,
So, do you agree that Drake is MJ and Kendrick is Prince in this situation?
yeah, I would definitely 100% if I was going to describe the two. Yeah, because at the end of the day, MJ always gave us the polished hits. That's what MJ gave us, and Prince always took a step on the wild side. And when you take a step on the wild side, you can come out with Purple Rain, right? But then you're also gonna create Diamonds and Pearls, and you're also gonna create Sometimes It Snows in April. You're gonna be an artist. And what comes from is what comes from it. And at the end of the day, people can say what they want about Prince. But part of Michael's legacy is Prince. Niggas don't always want to acknowledge it, but and it's always that two-man thing. Part of Jay-Z's legacy is Nas. It's gonna always be that two-man thing of like, you're gonna be here and you might be the pop guy, you might be the polished act, but then there's always gonna be just that raw artistic thing that you have to compete against.
Or like how people can't talk about MJ without talking about the Detroit Pistons and what he dealt with
Right? You
them.
can't you
It's like
can't
you
talk
can't tell
about
the
them
story
without
of greatness without talking about their rival.
exactly the rival, because it's all they're always gonna be there. That's always gonna be there. What's called, at the end of the day, taking it to anime, Goku has never beat Vegeta. He's stronger than
Facts.
Vegeta, but he's never beat Vegeta. And so, even as you talk about Goku, you're gonna always have to mention Vegeta because he's right there on
You
that nigga
cannot tell
ass.
the story of Goku without mentioning
The
Vegeta
story,
at
he
all.
can't. He's gonna always be right there on his ass. So it's like that's another thing with it too. It's like, you always, I don't know how to word it other than that. Like, those two, their legacies are intertwined now, Kendrick and Drake's. And they represent two completely different. Drake represents what's manufactured, and to an extent, Kendrick does too, to an extent, because you can't be a mainstream artist and not have some type of manufacturedness to you. But Kendrick still does represent creativity and raw talent, and always wanting to push to the next. And it's really interesting that those are the people that Drake beef with, because he beefed with Pusha T, Kendrick, and Kanye West. And all three of those artists are, Pusha T is always going to push rap to the next level with his lyricism. He's going to always work hard to be like one of the top rappers. Kanye West is always going to push art in general forward. He's a dick. He presents himself as such, but he's always going to present art and culture forward. Before Future had album of the year, it was Kanye Ty Dolla $ign new album that was album of the year. That's just what was going on this year, the beginning of the year. So it's like, and even as you look at Drake, it's like, you're always going to make something great. You're going to make something we're going to enjoy. But as far as pushing sound and culture to the next level, to me, I say he kept doing that when he kept introducing us to these artists from overseas. Because whether people like it or not, I was like, we wasn't giving a fuck about no damn UK drill until Drake started rapping on UK drill. And now I like Central C. I never thought I'd like a London rapper, but I like Central C now. So, or all this Afrobeat shit that's here. Like I got introduced to Wizkid through Drake. Would never know about what was happening over there with Afrobeats if it wasn't for Drake. So I feel like he was still pushing it when he was doing that. But as of now, I don't feel like he's maybe business wise, I don't know, but musically, he's not pushing us forward or giving us something new that we never seen before in a while. And especially with his own music, because after Nothing Was the Same, it seemed like he didn't even try to come off as introspective. It's like he stopped making great albums to focus on just being a really big pop star, which, to each their own. If that's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. But then, your contrast is Kendrick, who's still gonna put the art first, who's still gonna, even with Mr. Morale, people can say what they want about it, but it's like we have not had a rapper yet to touch on transgender topics at all. Nobody even wanted to touch that over in the rap community. And Kendrick did it. Nobody wanted to talk about
He
toxic
did.
relationships that rawly like he did on We Try to Cry Together. But Kendrick did it. Daddy issues. These don't be wanting to talk about that, but he did these things. So it's like he's always trying to push the culture to that next level. So it's like you're gonna always have to rival that when you're trying to be the pop star, the jiggy nigga, the popular nigga. You're gonna always have to go against the nigga who doesn't want to be those things, but still getting that same reception and still getting that gravitation. And it's probably gonna always piss you off that you don't understand why people are gravitating to him. Even though we all know people gravitate to what they perceive to be authenticity. We know that. But it's like if you're not an authentic person, you're never gonna get it. He even called him a narcissist. And even though narcissists get thrown around a lot, I can see that with Drake. Even though that word gets thrown around like a lot nowadays, I can see that with Drake. It's really apparent with Kanye. I don't know if it's as apparent with Drake. Drake is like a little more like, hey, I look like I'm a nice guy, but I might be a piece of shit behind closed doors. And I'm like, at least
I was
Kanye's just a
actually
dick
thinking that
publicly.
when you said that Drake isn't introspective anymore, I'm like, well, if what Kendrick is saying is true, it could be because his life turned into something that he just doesn't want to talk about anymore, you know?
hmm I mean, he does. It's just like when he does talk about it and you say something about it, he gets mad because he had some song on that new album when he was talking about slipping a Cialis in some girl's drink or whatever, and he was talking about dealing with 25-year-olds. And I remember on Joe Budden when they was breaking that down and saying like, doesn't that kind of seem weird for lyrical content? And he had a problem with Joe, and he made this long post about how shitty Joe was as a person. He's a failed artist and all that shit. But it's like, you wrote those lyrics and recorded it and listened to it multiple times and decided this is what you want to put into the world. So it's
And
like
people
even
have
if you are
responded
trying
to
to
it.
give us a glimpse of your life, and we saying like, hey man, your life seems a little fucked. Kendrick like, hey man, you out here being a fucking junkie nigga. You at the fucking yeah, that nigga said you are. I'm telling you, conservative values is what he was attacking them with. He said, nigga, you're a pervert, you're a pillhead, you're addicted to gambling. I'm like, damn, niggas, this is 1991. Are you Temper Gore?
Real quick, because you brought up Kendrick being manufactured as well as Drake. That made me think of something that Drake said about Kendrick doing music with pop stars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was actually something that I thought about when I heard, well, not the full soundtrack, but there were some songs on the Black Panther soundtrack that sounded very poppy. That sounded
Mm-hmm.
like maybe Disney made a deal with some songwriter and then went to TDE and was like, "We
Mm-hmm.
need Kendrick and SZA to record this song."
Yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts on Kendrick or on Drake kind of pointing that out about Kendrick, and how do you think that has played a role in the formation of Kendrick's career?
I don't think it. I mean, there's no if you're looking at it from a personal perspective, like I said, I don't know. I really don't. You know me as a friend. I don't care about a lot of shit. And I mean that when I say that. I just like it really isn't a thought until it's brought up. So from a personal perspective, I mean the game is the game. We're all in the business, right? If Justin Bieber hits me up for a feature right? And I don't have a problem with Justin Bieber. I don't know Justin Bieber to be a fucked up person and nothing like that. I don't feel like this is gonna hurt my brand to do a song with Justin Bieber. Then I'm gonna go get that 150,000. I'm gonna drop that verse with Justin Bieber. Like what the fuck? Drake would do the same fucking thing. I think if Taylor Swift really wanted a Drake verse, then Drake would get on a fucking Taylor Swift. Because why the fuck wouldn't you? You always want to expand your brand at the end of the day. But when you expand, after I get done expanding my brand, when those people come back to me to hear what I'm doing, they're gonna hear my music. So I don't like to one extent it's like I get what you're saying, but my nigga, the game is the game. Why would he not do that? Why would he not get on Bad Blood? I like Bad Blood. He got me to listen to a Taylor Swift song, and I enjoy Bad Blood. And it's like what, almost 10 years later, I can still be around somewhere singing that shit. So it's like, oh god, my bad. These big ass mosquitoes popping around now. But yeah, I don't know. I get what you was trying to do, but then it's like maybe to the general listener who takes Kendrick's image seriously, maybe. But I listened to Kendrick when he said, "Yo, Kendrick made you feel, but he is not your savior." I gotta listen to him. He said like Kendrick is not my savior or nothing. But like I said, I don't know what to say about that. It's like if Beyonce wants me to come do a song, I'm gonna do the song. If the song is all of the lights, I mean not all the lights, all the stars, because I like all the stars, but it does sound extremely poppy. But it's weird because it sounds poppy, but in a way, it still sounds organic to Kendrick and SZA. It sounds like a SZA song to me, and it sounds like Kendrick put a verse on the SZA song to me when I listen to that song. But like I said, I mean, why the fuck wouldn't you do that? Like, if Adam, what's his face is, I don't even fucking like Maroon 5, but if that nigga asked me to do a verse, I probably wouldn't get to do it
Adam, what's
now.
his face?
Yeah, Adam Levine. I
Adam
hate that
Levine.
nigga. Yeah, I hate that nigga voice. I just hate the timbre of his voice. I just don't like hearing him sing. But if he was like, "Yo, man,
I
hop
like
on this
Maroon
song,"
Five's first album. Like
yeah.
when he was all heartbroken and angry. Oh, I loved Maroon Five. But
When
then
he
he
was
started making
artsy,
money and
but
his
then
life
he
was good,
became
and I
a
was like,
yeah, he became a polished product artist, same as Drake. I really loved Drake when Drake was rapping about being insecure about things because I could relate to that more than I can, Drake talking about shot him up, wiping his nose, all this street shit that it's like, nigga, it's so funny to me because on one of those songs, those diss songs, he said something about the weekend. And he said I almost reached for my waist, and my girlfriend, she's funny as hell. She was like, for what? And I was like, for his gun. And she was like, Drake doesn't have a gun. And she just said it so definitively
just
though.
so
She
matter of
said
fact.
like she hangs with the nigga like Drake doesn't have a gun. And I was like, babe, how do you know if Drake is like he does not have a gun? So it's like this isn't even relatable, and this is something I've been thinking for years. But so many people have been embracing it that I was like, oh, well, Drake is rapping tough now. I guess I don't know. So that's really really interesting to see an artist and other people be like, yeah, bro, like nobody's. Like, if you're not cosplaying black culture, you're definitely cosplaying street culture, and none of us believe this.
Facts.
None of us is looking at you and thinking like, I'm in danger if that guy's in the room.
And I mean, I almost feel like Kendrick was trying to make that point as well because he
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick referenced another movie that I happen to really love, Malibu's Most Wanted, right?
Oh my god, that
And
was funny. Call that nigga B-Rat. Oh my god.
but if you think about Malibu's Most Wanted and what actually happened in that movie, one of the most
Mm-hmm.
interesting things about it was that the white kid, he wasn't really faking. Like he
He
did
really
grow up
was.
in a house with a lot of money, but because of who raised him, the nannies, that's like he actually grew to love hip hop culture. And so he
Mm-hmm.
was being authentic to himself. He just wasn't around enough people who live that culture to actually like do it right. But
Mm-hmm.
then the people who were trying to like get that out of him, they were actual actors,
There's exactly.
so to me that was almost Kendrick saying like, yes, I've been attacking your blackness, but it's
Oh,
not
I will
even
pop
just
a cap in
about
your
blackness.
ass.
That is that is one of those movies that I wonder, could they put out that movie today? I don't
No,
know
it
for sure
wouldn't.
if they
It would
could,
not work today.
but
Oh my
I
god.
might go and watch it after. Like, okay, after I listened to Euphoria, I went and watched The Wiz,
Yeah.
and I feel like tonight I'm gonna watch Malibu's Most Wanted because that is, if you were watching this stream and you haven't watched
Please
Malibu's
go
Most
watch
Wanted
it.
ever, or you haven't watched it in a while, it is a fucking classic movie, and you need to
It
go
is.
watch it.
It's hilarious.
but yeah, it almost felt like, once again, double entendres. Like, if you know the content, you know the content. It felt like Kendrick was saying, hey, I've been attacking your blackness this whole time, but it's not even just about blackness. This is about the culture. And
Exactly.
regardless of your race, regardless of who your daddy is, this is not your culture, period. And we can tell that you're faking. We can tell that you're
Hmm.
pretending.
And it's like,
So
you could just be I don't know, like, I feel like Kendrick and Cole kind of show that anyway. Your two counterparts show that you can just be a regular nigga and be at the top of this shit. I wouldn't feel in danger around. I feel like, like I said, I relate more to Kendrick and Cole. I used to tell you this all the time when we first met, that I relate to them more because I too am a nigga from the hood who is not mixing the fuck shit. And it's more of us than it is niggas who are doing the bullshit. It's more just regular niggas. Anyway, so it's like, I can relate to that shit way more than I can like the murder shit or whatever. So it's like when you look at Drake, and it's like, you're not even from like the hood, nigga. Just rap about being in love with girls, nigga. Like, even he talked about carrying a gun just because he know how other niggas is. That make more sense than you are like, oh, he did this, I'm wiping his nose, all this little street terminology that I gotta talk to my 14-year-old cousins to figure out what the fuck it mean. A nigga that's damn near 40 saying this shit that ain't never been around that shit in a serious context. And if you is as a billionaire, it's because you want to be, which is weird in its fucking self. Like, why the fuck would I make all this money to be around some dirty ass street niggas? No offense to the street niggas that may be listening to this, but it's like, why would I do that?
I mean, hopefully they understand. um But yeah, I feel like this situation is not done. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but
Yeah,
I feel like the situation isn't done, and we will have an opportunity to talk about this again. Um, so I'm looking at the lyrics, and there's stuff that, like, I want to say, but I'm gonna leave it
mm.
there for right
I kind
now.
of hope that
So
it is done. I do hope that this is the last one, at least from Kendrick. I hope this is the last one that drops because it's like, it's fun, but then like if he drops another song, then to me it's gonna feel like overkill at that point. It's like, because like I said, I don't know what Drake can say to respond to this stuff. Like, I'm not a Kendrick hater. So many people that I've seen complain about it, they actually don't like Kendrick, and some of them actually are Drake fans. So it's like, I can get them saying, "Oh, he dropped this and it's killing Kendrick." But for me, a nigga who kind of is non-biased in this shit, I really don't know what Drake could say or do that could counter what Kendrick. Like, you're gonna have to actually rap extremely well on top of have poignant points, or just like I said, just call it, "Hey, look, I lost. Fuck it. You seen me lose before."
we have
Last
indeed.
time the nigga lost, he dropped the God's plan. So I mean, like, nigga, and Kiki, do you love me? He dropped both of them shits the last time he lost. So I'm like, nigga, you ain't lose no damn money. World kept on spinning.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it, and if we have an opportunity to revisit this, we will. But thank you so much for your time and for
Of
giving me
course.
more time than we originally planned. I really appreciate it. So once again, I guess you can shout out your Twitter. And just so y'all know, a lot of DA's Twitter is a lot of jokes. If you're easily offended, if you're sensitive, like,
Well,
don't go follow this
my
app.
Facebook is more jokes than my Twitter. A lot of times, because like, I'm unfortunately, I ain't gonna say unfortunate. I'm in a relationship now, but that does take a toll on your Twitter because a lot of my jokes was like really fucked up ass jokes about dating and shit. So it's like I can't talk like that because I have to represent my union now, so I can't talk like that on Twitter anymore. But
That is so
my
sweet.
Twitter is at underscore DEEAYE underscore. Uh, and then for everything else, you can literally Google THEDEAYESHO, which is the DA show, all one word, and all of my shit will pop up because I can't even tell you everything I have at this point. I got so many damn pages now. But yeah, like you said, rapper, content creator, all those things. I'm kind of paused on a lot of that stuff now. I'm trying to figure out a way to rework myself back into these spaces or whatever. Because even in some of these conversations I've had with my girlfriend, there's things that I've predicted weeks ago, like the J. Cole thing, how people was calling him a sucker and all that, and now people are like, "Nah, Cole kind of made the better decision at this point." Things like that I predicted weeks ago, or I was saying weeks ago. So I'm trying to figure out my way back into this media space. So right now I don't have a lot of stuff, but I do have a show called The DA Show, 6 episodes. No, it's like 7 or 8 episodes, but people enjoyed them. So go listen to those. They are on all the streaming platforms. And yeah, that's all I got to promote right now. And I do audio. So if you're looking for an audio engineer, I can help you, especially for the podcasters. I can definitely help you. But other than that,
Yes.
That's all I got going right now.
All right. Well, thank you. And to everybody who's been watching and been active in the chat, thank you so much for watching. This has
Shout out to
been
all
a
y'all. I didn't
special.
see nothing, but I'm sure y'all active.
This has been a special bonus episode of Bitches Love Sports. I'm Jazz Monet, and I'm out.
Peace.